MAC address of that port fast Ethernet 0/0. MAC address is an 48-bit address. So first 24-bit of MAC address, then insert FFFE, then last 24-bit of that MAC address. Now we can enable this interface using the command no shutdown. We can see do show IP version 6 interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Yeah, here we can see the MAC address, the host ID. So the host ID can be automatically generated using the MAC address of fast Ethernet 0/0. So this is an 64-bit. So MAC address is an 48-bit. So in between the MAC address it will insert FFFE. Okay, exit. Now we can assign the IP version 6 address into WAN network. So we can go to that particular interface serial 0/0 IP version 6 space address 2001:111:111:. So the net ID is 5. So here we can give 5. Next :2/64. No shutdown to enable this interface. Exit. Now we can assign the IP version 6 address into WAN network. Net ID is 7. So we can go to that particular interface serial 0/0/1 IP version 6 space address 2001:111:111:. So the net ID is 7:1/64. So the /64 indicates how many bit is net ID and how many bit is host ID. IP version 6 is an 128-bit. So in that first 64-bit is net ID and last 64-bit is host ID. So the host ID I will assign 1. So double colon indicates if it is continuous 0 means we can assign as double colon. Now we can assign the IP version 6 address. Now we can enable that interface no shutdown. Here we can see this is an DCN. So here we can apply the clock rate. So the syntax for assigning clock rate is clock space rate 64,000. Exit. Okay, now we can assign the IP version 6 address into EEE department. So we can go to the router, no, enable, configure terminal. In global mode we can give IP version 6 space unicast -routing. So using this command only the router can forwards the IP version 6 traffic. It is not inbuilt. For that purpose only we can give manually IP version 6 space unicast -routing. Okay, now we can assign the IP version 6 address to the local area network. So first of all we can go to that particular interface fast Ethernet 0/0. So the syntax for assigning IP version 6 address is IP version 6 space address 2001:111:111:. So the net ID is 4. So here I will assign 4:/64 space EUI-64. So the expansion of EUI is extended unique to identifier. So in local area network I will not assign any host ID. Instead of that I will assign EUI-64. That means it automatically assign the host ID. So the MAC address of fast Ethernet 0/0. So that MAC address can be taken to assign as an host ID. So the MAC address is an 48-bit address. So first 24-bit of MAC address, then it will insert FFFE, then last 24-bit of MAC address. So now we can enable this interface using no shutdown. Exit. Okay, now we can assign the IP version 6 address into the local area network of EEE department. Now we can assign the IP version 6 address into WAN network. So we can go to that particular interface serial 0/0/0. So the syntax for assigning IP version 6 address is IP version 6 space address 2001:111:1 colon 1111 colon. So the net ID is 7. So here I will assign 7, then colon. So host ID is I will assign as 2/64. Now we can assign the IP version 6 address. Now we can enable that interface using the command no shutdown exit. Okay, now we can assign the IP version 6 address of interface serial 0/0/1. So we can go to that interface serial 0/0/1. So the syntax for assigning IP version 6 address is IP version 6 space address 2001 colon 111 colon 111 colon. So the net ID is 8. So here I will assign 8 colon 2. So the host ID can be assigned as 2/64. Now we can enable this interface using the command no shutdown exit. Okay, so in CSC department, IT department, EC department and EEE department, so all the 4 local area networks and all the 4 wide area network, so all these networks we can assign the IP version 6 address. In local area network we can assign the IP version 6 address. In host ID we will not give any host ID. Instead of that we can give EUI-64, that means extended unique identifier. It automatically generates the host ID. But in WAN network we will assign the host ID as 1 2 like that. Okay, now IP version 6 address can be assigned to the all the local area network and wide area network. Now we can configure the Eigrp routing protocol. For what purpose we can use Eigrp routing protocol means if CSC department can communicate to EC department, EEE department, IT department means using routing protocol only